Saadi once shared a story laden with a profound lesson. What if the wishes we fervently seek become the very chains that bind us? In the historic city of Diyarbakir, Saadi journeyed through bustling markets and winding alleys until he arrived at the opulent home of a man whose wealth was rivaled only by his apparent happiness. The man possessed vast lands, treasures beyond measure, and a son whose striking appearance was the talk of the town. Invited as an honored guest, Saadi observed the harmony that seemed to fill every corner of the household. One tranquil evening, as the sun cast its final golden hues over the city, the wealthy man confided in Saadi. He spoke of years spent yearning for a child to share his fortune and continue his lineage. His longing had led him to distant realms in search of solace. He recounted a pilgrimage to a sacred tree, nestled in a far-off land, a tree whispered in legends to grant the deepest desires of those who prayed beneath its ancient branches. There, he had poured out his soul, and in time, his pleas were answered with the birth of his son. As the father reminisced, his eyes shone with a blend of pride and fulfillment. Yet, Saadi sensed a subtle shadow flicker across his face, an unspoken worry that tempered his joy. Meanwhile, in another wing of the sprawling estate, the son sat among his companions. Surrounded by laughter and the carefree air of youth, he mused about that very sacred tree his father had visited. However, his thoughts took a darker turn. Unlike his father, his desire was not for life, but for liberation. From his father, he contemplated seeking out the tree to pray for his father's demise, envisioning how inheriting the wealth would free him to live without restraint. Saadi, attuned to the whispers that float unnoticed by others, became aware of the son's unsettling intentions. He pondered the cruel irony. The father's fervent prayers had been for the gift of a son, yet that son now wished for his father's end. The wealth that was meant to be a blessing had sown seeds of greed and impatience. In the quiet solitude of his chamber, Saadi reflected deeply. He considered the unintended consequences of desires pursued without wisdom. The father's singular focus on fulfilling his own longing may have led him to overlook nurturing gratitude and respect in his son. The abundance surrounding the young man had perhaps dulled his appreciation for sacrifice and eroded his moral compass. Saadi contemplated the cyclical nature of human actions and their repercussions across generations. He recognized that the father's unchecked desire had, in a way, become a chain, binding both himself and his son in a web of expectation and entitlement. The son's wish for his father's death was a stark manifestation of a legacy gone awry. As dawn approached, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, Saadi prepared to continue his journey. Before departing, he took a moment to internalize the profound lessons unfolding before him. He understood that true fulfillment arises not from the mere granting of wishes, but from cultivating virtues like gratitude, compassion, and selflessness, both within ourselves and in those we influence. So, what if the wishes we fervently seek become the very chains that bind us? Perhaps true freedom is found not in the relentless pursuit of our desires, but in understanding the deeper implications of what we wish for, ensuring that our aspirations uplift not only ourselves, but also those whose lives we touch.